right. Just do a quick check. I think we are live. Let me just double check that. Yeah, we are. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Matt, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How are you doing?
Not too bad at all, thank you. I, of course, am Keith Whittier, the movie reviewer for Ottawa Life magazine. I am thrilled to be joined by my best friend, Matt Easterbrook, who has been reviewing movies for a lot longer than I have, and somebody who is extremely passionate about film. So I am thrilled that he is taking the time. We are here coming up on 11 o'clock here in the East Coast, and Derek, who we pushed this back for, is kind of cheating on us because he's finishing up another podcast where he's going to be talking about film where he's talking about the Oscars as well. So he's kind of pulling double duty tonight, and he'll be joining us very shortly. Matt, let me ask you a question. Of course, the Academy Awards, Hollywood's biggest night. Mm-hmm. What are some of your some of your favorite Oscar memories that come to mind when you think of the Academy Awards?
Oh man, some of my favorite memories. I mean, obviously you have to start with, some of the opening gambits, stuff from Billy Crystal and his song parodies, stylings, if you want to call them, were lit. Winning wise, I can't forget Roberto Benigni jumping all over the seats, and it's always nice seeing people filled with joy, and really having that come through in their speeches and when they accept. God, I can't really pull too many off the top of my head right now. But one that really got me was when Kate Winslet won her Oscar for The Reader.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, the Benigni one is kind of like etched in stone, right? Here's a guy jumping on a chair, and Steven Spielberg's having to support him as he's standing up in the auditorium, and he's like so overcome with joy and excitement.
Yeah, notice how he hasn't been invited back either.
and there's that. But I remember one of the years Jon Stewart was hosting, and there was this movie called Hustle and Flow, and they won. They won for a song called "It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp," and they were the most overjoyed at the podium. And even Stewart was like, "Why are they the happiest people to be here?" Because a lot of times people are very serious and what have you. I mean, when I think about awards, recency bias notwithstanding, I loved seeing Parasite win as many awards as it did, and I think Bong Joon-ho's acceptance speech for Best Director was incredible. That was one that definitely stuck with me. But also,
welcoming to the international community to the Oscars as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because I believe that was the first time an international film went on to win Best Picture.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so that was definitely an incredible moment. And from a hosting standpoint, listen, I know that Kimmel has done a good job over the years, but for me, Billy Crystal is absolutely the gold standard of hosts. And which brings me to this year. A lot of people aren't talking about it, or at least not talking about it enough. I'm thrilled that Conan O'Brien is hosting. I think his comedy is brilliant. He's done everything up until this. He's done the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He was crazy at that. He crazy good at that. He's done the Emmy Awards. He's done all of these award shows, and I think the pinnacle for any comedian is absolutely the Academy Awards. So the fact that he's going to have the opportunity to do it, and considering that his talk show ended years ago, he runs a podcast. He's definitely active. We see him doing different things. He's in a movie coming out later this year with Rose Byrne. I think it's called "If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You." So he's dabbling his toe into some dramatic work. So a lot of respect for him, and I'm very excited because I think we might potentially have a song and dance number. We might. I know when we had
Andy Richter on stage, or
say that again.
Bringing Andy Richter on stage.
You never know. But it's been a while. I mean, we had it with Neil Patrick Harris tried to recreate the brilliance that he had at the Tony Awards, and I don't think it worked. I think it was okay, but I think the best award show opening of all time of any award show was the Bigger number that and literally called Bigger that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote for the Tony Awards that Neil Patrick Harris did, and it's like it would be hard to top that. But in terms of a lot of the stuff that we've seen, I think that this year we're definitely going to get he's going to spice it up a little, because Kimmel doesn't have that in his repertoire to do the singing, to do the dancing, right? We've got Colleen. Thanks for staying up late with us, Colleen. Colleen, I liked it when Hugh Jackman hosted. Hugh Jackman was great too, right? Because he did the because I think back then it was still 5 nominees, if I'm not mistaken, and he did the whole like opening number thing. So yeah, Hugh Jackman's another guy who's definitely extremely talented and can do a lot of different things. So
now tonight, out in the costumes of all the best costume nominees.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So tonight is very much going to be a fun chat, and we're not going to try to just ramble here. We are going to go over we're going to go over 7 major awards in no particular order: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress. And for those of you who either have children or just love the animated films, we're even going to dip into the animated films as well. Now, if you are filling out your Oscar pool and you need help or suggestions, I should say suggestions, because I don't want to take responsibility, because it's not like we're getting a cut. But if you want suggestions with like cinematography or score or what have you, we've got you. Jump in the chat and let us know. But Matt, where do you want to start tonight? Do you want to start with supporting actor? Or do you want to start with supporting actress?
Well, let's start with the obvious one, the easy one. Let's get it out of the way. Kieran Culkin, supporting actor.
So we're going supporting actor. Okay, Matt just jumping right in there with his pick. I love it. All right, so here it is. Let me read the nominees. All right, we've got actor. There we go. I'm not trying to make anybody dizzy by doing that back and forth. Okay, here we go. Actor in a supporting role. We've got Yura Borisov for Anora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Matt, you said you're going for Kieran Culkin. Shocking.
Right.
All right, you want to talk that one through?
Yeah, I mean he's won all the precursors to the Oscars. You know, the Golden Globe, the BAFTA, the Screen Actors Guild Award. His performances, I thought it was phenomenal. He really brings to life a person who seems to be the life of the party, but has a lot more trauma going on underneath than we realize, and you come to find that out. Like a lot of people have said, it's basically recreation of his role in Succession. I don't necessarily think that it's so. I think he creates something different. But yeah, the only other person I would consider giving the Oscar to would be Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, but
really, okay,
they're not going to give it to him. It's going to be Kieran, but
yeah,
Pearce was just phenomenal as well.
Yeah. So my take is I totally agree. I mean, you can't stop a train with the momentum that he has. And Kieran Culkin, to your point, has won everything. Well deserved. His performance was outstanding in this film. And shout out to Jesse Eisenberg for scripting a very beautiful film. I look at these awards sometimes and I just do a little process of elimination. I thought Borisov was great in Anora, but not enough people are talking about it, or not talking about his performance, excuse me. My second pick, to be honest with you, wouldn't be Guy Pearce. It would be Ed Norton. I think Ed Norton's one of these actors where you kind of stop and you think, wait, he hasn't won an Oscar yet, because he's been just so great in so many different things, and he brought a lot to this role. I mean, pretty much the entire acting ensemble for A Complete Unknown has been nominated in these awards, with the exception of Fanning. Pearce, I thought was great in The Brutalist, but again, I just felt that Adrian Brody just kind of overshadowed everything. And as good as Jeremy Strong was, like, let's put our cards on the table. Nothing associated with the Donald is going to win an award. It's just not going to happen. So, process of elimination notwithstanding, Kieran Culkin has been fantastic. I would have loved to have seen if not Denzel, nominated in this. What's his name? Macklin from Sing Sing. I think that would have been interesting as well. But again, at the end of the day, I think this is Kieran's to lose, and I just don't think he's going to lose.
I would have loved to have seen John Lithgow get nominated for Conclave. I thought he was fantastic in a very, very dialogue-heavy role without histrionics.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Going back to what you were saying quickly about Edward Norton.
Yeah.
100% agree with you. But by the same token, you have to also keep in mind that his reputation is a little come see, come sa. I've heard he's a bit of a not very easy to get along with, maybe a bit of a diva, some might say.
Yeah.
And that could play into it too.
Yeah, to your point, you've got to be able to play well in the sandbox, right? Mm-hmm. And if you've got that reputation where you don't, then obviously things aren't gonna work out for you. Mm-hmm. Let us jump to actress in a supporting role, and I'll read out the nominees here: Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande, not Venti, not short, couldn't help it. Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Again, for the same reason that we kind of went through Kieran Culkin, I do think that this is kind of like the one award I think Emilia Perez can win. Not to say that it can't win others. I just don't see it having a great night, and we'll get into that later on. I remember my friend Ricky, who I adore, she saw Emilia Perez at Cannes, and I remember her first thing, one of her first reactions was, Zoe Saldana can sing, who knew? And I think this is one of these roles where you have an actor who we've seen for years, and now we were starting to see her in a completely different light because she's been given material that allows her to showcase more of her talents.
I think it's less the singing, but also the dancing, the movement, how precise the choreography is as well.
Yeah. Outside of that, I thought Monica Barbaro was very good at A Complete Unknown, and it was interesting because, of course, a lot of people came to know her in the Top Gun movie Maverick, and then she was in kind of like a throwaway movie on Paramount. She's done some throwaway stuff, but I thought she was really good in this. I dismiss Grande quickly because of the fact that we got Wicked 2 coming out, right? And it's very difficult for me to be like, oh, we need to. It's like you're gonna get us. You're double dipping, whether that's right, whether that's wrong. And Felicity Jones didn't impress me as much as she has in some of her other roles. Mm-hmm. I think Rossellini was great in Conclave, and in a parallel state maybe, but I just think that this is the year for Saldana. What do you think?
If anyone upsets Saldana, if Emilia Perez just completely falls off a cliff, it's going to be Rossellini who gets it. I think there's just so much, I don't want to say the word momentum, but so much love and support for her small performance. Barbaro, again, I got to say, she was a complete unknown to me. Didn't know much about her, but Ariana Grande I thought was fantastic. I thought she really took a role that I've seen done a few times on stage and just made it something new, made it her own. I thought she was actually really quite good. I mean, it was nice of Felicity Jones to show up after the intermission. That was nice. But it's going to be Zoe Saldana. 95% sure of that.
Yeah. No. So, do you have a TV on in the background there, Matt?
No, my wife is in Discord on another chat. I'll just go and shut the door.
Okay, cool. It's a Thursday night. Why would anybody be sleeping? We all need to be up chatting.
All right.
Okay. All right. Because it's here on my screen, are you good if we talk about animated feature film?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So our nominees here. Sorry, go ahead.
I have not seen Memoir of a Snail.
Okay. 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 We've got Flow. We've got Inside Out 2. We've got Memoir of a Snail. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. So this is one of those for myself in terms of who I think will win and who should win. I think The Wild Robot will win, and again, based on momentum. And I think Flow should win. I think it was one of the most beautiful films of the year. It was one of the last. Actually, it was the last movie I saw at last year's Toronto International Film Festival. And what blew me away is the fact that I'm watching this animated film with absolutely no dialogue. Look, no dialogue whatsoever. They're just basically letting the images on screen do all of the talking. And I just thought it was a beautiful film in terms of how they captured like this society without humans and just animals and what have you. But again, from a momentum standpoint, I fully expect The Wild Robot to win, but I wouldn't be brokenhearted if Flow made its way to the stage.
So I am going to flip your choices.
Okay.
I think that Flow has the momentum and it will win. Wild
Okay.
Robot, don't forget, has been out for quite a while now.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be off people's radar, but recency bias and all that. And we've heard a lot about Flow over the past month and a half or so. That being said, The Wild Robot made me cry. I got to give it to The Wild Robot.
All right. Fair. Nothing wrong with that. I appreciate the honesty. All right. Okay. We're rolling here. I want to leave actress for last. So we're going to move up to actor in a leading role. All right. Okay, here we go. We got our nominees. We got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo coming in strong with Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes, it is not Ralph, people, it's Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. It's interesting. Sebastian Stan won the Golden Globe for A Different Man, which is interesting because his co-star I thought was the more interesting character, but I mean, that's just me. But anyways, he wins for that. And now people are like, oh, he won the Golden Globe, he could win the Oscar. And I'm like, it's two different movies, people. Mm-hmm. Again, so I don't know. Do you want to kick this one off, or do you want me to take a stab at it?
Please go first.
All right. So doing the typical Keith process of elimination, nothing associated with Donald Trump's touching that Oscar stage. So Sebastian Stan, your performance was fantastic in a movie that surprised me how much I enjoyed it, and they did a very good job with it. You're not going to win. Ray Fiennes, I think Ray Fiennes, if I'm not mistaken, I think he won the BAFTA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, the whole home court advantage, I don't think is going to be a thing here. I don't think he wins. Coleman Domingo. So the year that Sing Sing came out was a great year for him because at the 2023 Toronto Film Festival, he had two movies. He had Sing Sing and he had Rustin. He was nominated for Rustin last year, nominated for Sing Sing this year. And it's one of those films where it's an incredible performance. I am blown away by Coleman Domingo, and I'm very impressed with him. I wish him nothing but the best. I want to continue seeing him in roles. The challenge with Sing Sing is not a lot of people seem to have watched it because I don't hear a lot of conversations about it.
Well, there's no marketing behind it either.
Yeah. And you kind of think to yourself, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but it's like, if your job is to promote the movie, like promote the film. I've dealt with publicists who are fantastic in terms of, I don't have I'm not a major publication, but they're like, you're interested in our movie. We want to talk to you because the more people we talk to, the more we can get the word out. And they have this grassroots campaign. I don't know where that was for Sing Sing. So it's disappointing because if we're just looking from a performance standpoint, again, his is very, very strong. But from a marketing standpoint, and a lot of this does come down to the marketing, not as much. Now, this award comes down to two people. Sorry?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
So, Sing Sing, you said, came out in 2023 at TIFF, right?
Hang on 1 second. Hold that thought. Let's get this guy in here. Hey, Derek.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. Really quickly, Derek, Derek, do you remember last year when we were doing this and there was this awesome guy who kept making comments on every single award? That was Matt. We brought him in.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Bringing everybody together. It's great.
Bringing everybody together. Just to kind of catch you up. We talked supporting actress. We talked supporting actor. We talked animated. Right now we're on actor in a leading role. we're gonna finish up with actor in a leading role, and then we'll run back quickly and get your thoughts on those previous three.
Okay.
But Matt, you were asking about Sing Sing. So Sing Sing was at the 2023 Toronto Film Festival, but it didn't get its release until 2024.
That's why. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we're doing our predictions for actor in a leading role. I, from process of elimination, just to catch up, Derek, have eliminated Sebastian Stan because nothing associated with Trump's going to win on an Oscar stage.
Yep.
We're not in England, respectfully. So Conclave, I don't think wins, and I don't think that there's any momentum for Ralph Fiennes to win. I was singing the praises of Coleman Domingo, as anybody should who's seen him act. This award for me comes down to two people, Adrian Brody and Timothée Chalamet. Now, in terms of performances, in my opinion, the second best performance of the year was Chalamet in A Complete Unknown. Not being a Bob Dylan fan and not like a hater or a detractor or anything, just being indifferent to Bob Dylan, but having the respect. I was blown away with his performance, and I thought he did an excellent job. But that being said, while I will concede that I feel The Brutalist is unnecessarily long, there are parts where I just feel like Adrian Brody is just giving up a masterclass in acting, and it's just his performance is very, very strong in that film. So if you're saying, okay, Keith, thank you for the rambling. At the end of the day, who are you picking? I'm actually going to go with Chalamet. I'm going to go with it's like last year. Last year, I really wanted. I think it was last year. It was Giamatti. Was it last year up against? Or am I thinking 2 years ago? But there was somebody up against Cillian Murphy, and I'm like, Cillian's probably going to win it, but I'm going with this person. I'm doing that again this year. I think Chalamet was the most deserving person, and I don't know. Given the fact that Brody didn't get the BAFTA, it is open for a possibility of Chalamet coming in and stealing it, if you want to call it a steal. But I'm going Timothée Chalamet. Final answer.
Well, Keith, in this house we stand Ralph Fiennes. So if my boy Ralph wins, then fantastic. I'll be happy as a pig in what. But I like what you're thinking about Chalamet, but here's my issue. Historically, the Oscars have skewed older with male actors and younger with female actors, and we'll come to that later on. I can see Chalamet winning, but I actually think it's probably still going to be Adrian Brody if the AI thing doesn't completely sink his chances.
Okay.
What about
Derek?
You?
Yeah. So I am not a fan of A Complete Unknown. I do think that Chalamet is fantastic in the movie. My heart, if we were just doing heart picks, my heart pick is Coleman Domingo. I think he's so overdue. He's constantly overlooked. He makes it to this line all the time, and they just will not give him the award. And it's like, what does this man have to do to get a damn award? Because he deserves it. Like, he is the best part of anything that he's in, and most of what he's in is already great. Like, he is so incredible, and I just get so sad every time where we start to see the race shake out, and he just keeps falling down the list of who I think will actually win. So my heart is for Coleman Domingo. But my actual pick is Adrian Brody. I think that Timothée Chalamet will win an Oscar. He absolutely will. But I do think he's kind of following the Leonardo DiCaprio trajectory. And he's a little young right now for him to actually get it. And he's going to get to a point where they're going to basically retroactively give him an award for his work in A Complete Unknown, whether that's next year in some big projects he's got coming up or something like that. But like, I think especially Academy voters who just, I don't know, don't watch movies, but I think just overall, right, the perception of Timothée Chalamet, even though he's not, they have this perception that he's still a little boy, right? He's too young, he's still too fresh, and he's still too green around the edges, even though he really is an incredible performer. I don't think they're ready to give it to him yet. So I'm almost 100% confident that this is going to go to Adrian Brody.
Okay, you make a good point in terms of a lot of his stuff being overlooked, because I think about some of the movies. I mean, of course, we know about like Dune. We know about Call Me by Your Name, like Interstellar. I don't want to call that a great role, but I mean, the fact that he's worked with Villeneuve and Nolan, I think is fantastic. I think of a movie that I saw several years ago that he was in, Beautiful Boy, with Steve Carell, where I was extremely impressed with him. Like, he doesn't miss. He's a very strong actor, but most of the time, the conversation around him is like his personal life and all of that. And I don't care, I'm not like, I just don't. I was going to, say I'm not like a 12-year-old girl, but I'm sure there's many women of many ages who appreciate Timothée Chalamet, but I'm like, focus on the work. And I think because there's so much discussion about all the extracurricular, it takes away from it. But to your point, I mean, he's an absolutely outstanding actor. And I fully agree with everything you said about Coleman Domingo. I mean, he is absolutely incredible. I remember years ago seeing him in a movie called Zola, and I remember seeing that movie and I was terrified. I'm like, it's not a horror movie, but he just plays such a menacing character and so believable. And then you see him after an interview, it's like, this guy's so chill, and it's like acting, but he's just so good. So I'm thrilled with him and his performances. And again, you said Chalamet could be there next year. So could Domingo. I mean, he's an outstanding actor. I know he's got he's starting to branch into TV as well. I hope he stays into film. Not to say that he wouldn't, but he's absolutely incredible. And sometimes it's not a matter of if they're going to win an Academy Award. It's a question of when. So
I think Chalamet is that guy.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go too far here, and by far I mean the next couple of awards, Derek, let's catch you up, or get your take on a couple of things. Mm-hmm. So we went through supporting actor and supporting actress. We were both with Zoe Saldana and Kieran Culkin. Are you going against the grain?
No. These are. I look for an award season that has been as chaotic as this one has, because I cannot remember a year where like we are less than 3 days away from the Oscars, and I still haven't submitted my final picks because there are just so many categories where I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like the precursors didn't help at all, at all. But the ones that did, these two are just absolute locks. Like 100%. There's no way Culkin is missing. And as much as we would like to, with all the Emilia Perez controversies going on, I think when that movie wins its only 2 awards, it's going to be for the works of Zoe Saldana, because it's going to be for her best or for her supporting actress, and it's going to be for the only good song that anybody remembers, which is also Zoe Saldana. So like this is a lock for her. She's the only reason that movie's going to get anything. So those 2 are locks.
It's so interesting, right? I'm praying that Diane Warren can cock block Emilia Perez.
It's interesting, right? Because I can see myself Sunday night. It's like getting up and it's like, oh, you're gonna miss an award. No, it's okay. Zoe Saldana's got it. We're fine.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm gonna go pee. Yeah.
I'll be back in time I'll be back in time for her acceptance speech. It's all good.
Yeah. Is it supporting actor? Okay, I'm gonna go grab some food. I'll be
exactly. Don't you know, Kieran Culkin? He's got it. All right, we're fine. And then the other award that we spoke about was animated feature film. And the 2 that we zeroed in on were Flow and The Wild Robot. I think The Wild Robot wins, although I would love it for it to be Flow. And Matt was kind of the opposite. He thinks Flow's gonna take it, and he might have mentioned that it made him cry, but there's nothing wrong with that.
This is the first film I saw at TIFF last year. Like this, I started my TIFF journey with Flow. I'm a cat daddy at heart, so this movie I ugly cried. Like no shame whatsoever. I'm literally sitting in the theater at 9 a.m. It's the first movie of the festival, and I'm walking out like, I just love that cat so much. So no shame, bro. This is another heart pick versus logic. My whole heart wants Flow to be the winner. I just think having a repeat of, like, I'm not even a big fan of The Boy and the Heron, but I love that something like that is unique and creative and different was able to win in this category. The Academy doesn't like to repeat itself for things that are special. And I just don't think they're going to do that again, which is unfortunate, because if there is a really deserving winner, it really is Flow. I think it's the best animated film of the year. It made my top 10, I think, of this year for my, like, I just adore this film. I loved The Wild Robot, but I just loved Flow more. But I don't think it's winning. I think this is a Wild Robot lock. This is one of the only categories where I would love to be wrong, though. Like, if I was wrong, I would actually be happy to be wrong. And if it went to
Fair.
Flo, I'd be super stoked. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wild Robot.
All right, fair. It's interesting because last year I was like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It was just so much movie. It was so incredible. And then like Boy and the Heron,
Right?
But every now and then the whole magic wand of TIFF comes out and you're like, all right, well, even though TIFF hasn't done so well with Best Picture in a couple of years, it's still got a hold on some stuff. So we'll see.
Well, Boy and the Heron,
all right.
I think is more of a vote for Miyazaki than anything TIFF related.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, but it's still dotted line to TIFF, right? Because that's where it had its debut. So, I mean, a lot of these film festivals are kind of like, oh, I hope it's ours, So like the people behind Cannes are loving this award season. So,
yeah.
Okay, we spoke about actor. Let us go into this is going to get fun. Actress in a leading role. Buckle up, gentlemen. We've got Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. I don't know if you've heard of this individual, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. She's been keeping herself out of the news. I hope she's doing all right. Mikey Madison for Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Which one of you fine gentlemen would like to kick this one off?
I can start.
Sure.
Yeah, I love Best Actress. It is always the most competitive. You really never have a performance where you're like, how the hell did that get in there? It's honest. I mean, to Leslie. So, but Angela Rajput was great in that movie, and I'm one of the only 5 people that actually watched it. So, So I think I love these categories because they're always just so cutthroat. Like any one of these women could win, and they could justifiably win. However, the only one that can't is Carla. Because I have never seen somebody self-destruct the way that Carla has, which is fine because I don't want Emilia Perez to win anything. She was the front runner for a very, very long time until this happened, and I've never seen those things tank so quickly. So I think now I know there's fervor behind Fernanda Torres. I don't think it's strong enough. I just don't think it's strong enough. So it's a 3-way race. I think it's between Madison, Moore, and Erivo.
3-way?
I think it's a 3-way, but
interesting. Okay.
If I'm pressed to pick, then I think it's Madison. I think Madison takes this. I think the precursor she has behind hers she had a late surge, right? But I think that late surge is enough to kind of overtake Moore, who I would put at second, and then I would put Erivo at third. And while I think Erivo is incredible, and I think if she was in a movie that the Academy liked a little bit more, she'd probably be a little bit more of a competitor. But as much as audiences loved Wicked and a lot of critics loved Wicked, I don't feel that same fervor from the Academy. Like Academy voters are just very soft on musicals in general. And so I think she's probably third on the list. So I would pick Mikey. I wouldn't be surprised if Moore somehow sneaks in there and pulls an upset. But I think this goes to Mikey.
Okay. Matt?
So going back to what I was saying earlier, the Academy voters like to skew young when it comes to new actresses. Think, Gwyneth Paltrow, think Halle Berry, both 25 or something. Well, Berry might have been a little bit older, but
Hackman, Haley Steinfeld, all these children win in Best Actress.
Yeah. But also don't forget the Academy is how do I say this? Full of old people and squeamish. So while Moore I thought was fantastic in The Substance, one of my favorite movies of the year, I just don't know how many people will have actually seen it to give her the award. And, Honora, I mean, yes, it's definitely following the life of a sex worker, so it's not exactly what you call, conservative or anything like that. But by the same token, I think Mikey Madison is just so new on the scene with such powerful performance. That last scene in the car, if you know,
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck! Can I swear on this?
No.
Now,
it was heartbreaking. And Demi Moore was amazing. and I would probably give my choice would probably be Demi Moore, but I think Mikey Madison pulls it up. But you know what? Let's have a repeat of 1968. Yeah, Barbara Streisand, Katharine Hepburn, both tied for.
Oh, okay, yeah.
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 Keith.
My turn. All right. So Derek did a pretty good job of the process of elimination for me, although I think it comes down to the two, which obviously are Demi Moore and Mikey Madison. I think Demi Moore, and this is going to sound like I'm trying to be being mean, but I'm not. I think she's done a fantastic job campaigning, and I think she's done a better job campaigning than she did in the film. So, for example, her Golden Globe acceptance speech was phenomenal. And it was heartfelt, right? Because again, here's somebody who'd been, it's kind of like life imitating art. Here's somebody who'd been discounted from the industry, told that she was only going to be a popcorn actress. And now, you know, she's on the stage. But then after she gets her nomination for the Academy Award, she has this press release thanking the Academy, congratulating the other nominees, thanking the people fighting the fires in LA. Like everything she's done this award season can't miss. And I don't say that to say that what she's doing is insincere. But what I'm saying is that she gets the assignment. She understands that this is a campaign, and that's fantastic. I have to disagree with you Matt, in terms of your evaluation of her in terms of the film, in the sense of I didn't leave that movie thinking to myself, "Oh my God, Demi Moore's performance was great." Not to say that I left thinking it was bad. I left thinking about Coralie Fargeat and her vision. Yeah. And we're going to get to Best Director in a moment. And I just think in terms of like, spoiler alert, I'm going to be picking Sean Baker, but if he slips on a banana peel, I would love for Coralie to win. Mm-hmm. There's been so much discussion in terms of female directors and what have you. And this has nothing to do with, it should be a woman winning. It has to do with the fact that if you look at all the movies that we've seen this year, for me, the one that stands out as being completely off from anything else I've seen is The Substance, and Coralie's not getting the recognition I think that she deserves. So while I think that Demi's obviously having a renaissance and this is fantastic and this is incredible to see, I can't rewrite history, and the history of me leaving that theater wasn't, oh my God, Demi Moore was incredible in this. I think both her and Margaret Qualley were very strong, but they were propped up on the vision and the brilliance and the absurdity of everything that Coralie Fargeat put in, because it wasn't just the whole gender dynamics. We've got a film that's kind of fighting against that whole, aging in Hollywood and how people are being treated and things of that nature, just in a completely bizarre way. I said earlier before you jumped on, Derek, I don't think you were here for this, but I was saying, or maybe you were, I was saying that Timothée Chalamet's was my second favorite performance of the year. By far, Mikey Madison and Honora was my favorite. I can't stop. Well, it's not like I go every single day talking about it, but I'm raving about it whenever I can. I'm telling people, I wish I could just drive people to the theater and watch it with them. It is an absolutely crazy film. And one of the things about this that really resonates with me, or I really appreciate, I shouldn't say resonates, but appreciate about this film, is the fact that she's done other stuff before. There was absolutely nothing, with all due respect, of her performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where I was thinking, oh, hey, that girl who just fell into the pool is going to be having one of the best performances a couple of years later. Sean Baker but wrote this entire script around her because he saw something in her and brought out this incredible performance. I'm mature enough to say, having, maybe stepped into one of those establishments a time or two before, like in terms of like a strip club,
sure,
they hit everything on point in terms of what that lifestyle is like. The woman did her research. She chews up scenery like nobody's business. The last scene is utterly heartbreaking. We've all come across people in our lives who have that wall, and then they start to let it down, and they allow themselves to be vulnerable. And that's what we see in the 2 hours and 50 minutes of that movie. There's not a scene that she's in that she doesn't own. So as much as I love the fact that Demi Moore is getting like some recognition and what have you, to Derek's point, like you said, sometimes you see these picks and it's hard to separate the lot, like logically, because logically Demi Moore's got the momentum, got a lot of momentum. But at the same token, last weekend, I think it was the Critics' Choice Awards, where they combine male and female and they just group all the actors together, and it was Mikey Madison that came out with the award. So my pick for Best Actress, I'm 100% standing behind Mikey Madison. I think that she absolutely deserves it. And I will say one thing, Derek, I don't think you were here for this. I would love to see Cynthia Erivo, and I'm confident that she will complete her EGOT, of course, like the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, the Tony. Here's the challenge with this. As soon as you saw Wicked, it was like, oh, Wicked 2 is coming out like next year.
Yeah.
Like, whereas with Dune, we didn't know when Dune 2 was coming out. We had an idea it was going to be in a couple of years, but we weren't sure. We weren't sure like exactly when it would be. So a lot of the times I'm seeing these nominees for Wicked. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, because you're going to be here next year, you know? But,
right. Yeah,
but anyway,
and not to harp on it too much, but I agree with you when it comes to the substance. Like, I think Demi Moore is great. I think Margaret Qualley is great. I think she should have been added to the Best Supporting Actress list. I'd knock someone off because she's really, like, I remember more of her and some of that is just I have a pant busting crush on her, but like I remember more of her in that film and the things that she does more than I do Demi Moore. And that's not an insult to Demi Moore because she is good. Like, there's nobody in this film that doesn't understand the assignment, but what's so attractive about the substance is the assignment itself. And that credit goes to Coralie Fargi. Like, that goes to her direction, to her visual style, to her script, to like everything that she's trying to accomplish, even though she's getting these great performances out of these actresses and out of the actor and out of everybody. It's all tied back to what she is doing, and all the I left that movie in the same way. We're just like, dude, Fargi's got the juice. Like, like sign me up for whatever she does next, because I will be seated. Like, just tell me she's making a movie in 2 years, put it in post-production. Don't tell me anything else. I got my ticket. Like, I'm in. And her expansion from Revenge, which is also incredible, and the way that she's able to just do some of the similar things but better with a bigger, but like, it's incredible. So yeah, I think all the credit goes to her, and Madison carries what Sean Baker does. It's the opposite, right? Like, you don't walk away from it thinking like, wow, Sean Baker is one of the best directors we have today. That's true. But at the same time, you walk away going, holy shit, Mikey Madison is the undiscovered GOAT. Like, that's what happens. So it's literally the reverse there.
Say that one more time, Matt.
Is there a scene in Lenore that Mikey Madison was not in? I'm trying to rack my brain, and I think she was in every scene of the film.
I think she
was
might
not.
Be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the scenes at the church. No, when when Toros is trying to
or whatever. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, you're right. What, the movie's like 2 hours maybe, and she's probably in. She's probably in 1 hour and 59 minutes. Like, she's
yeah. But no, and then you again, it's kind of like the same way I was saying, like Coleman Domingo terrified me. Then you see him and he's so chill. It's like she's got the whole accent going and what have you, and learned some Russian for the role. And then after, she's like the most soft spoken of the nominees, right? So keeping us I always love when people jump in the comments, and don't be shy if you want to share anything. Tim is coming in with AI controversy should not prevent Brody. So of course referring to the AI and Adrian Brody. I don't know that it will, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys have heard a lot of people talk. I mean, I've heard about it, but I mean, it doesn't seem to have stopped him from winning different awards leading up to this. So
yeah, this isn't the self-implosion of Carla. This is
not at all.
And this was not at all. The way when you actually kind of look into how it was used and what they were trying to accomplish, like, there's none of it takes away from what Adrian Brody is doing. It's not like they AI'd his voice and suddenly it's not Adrian Brody. Like, it's literally like auto-tune on an accent. Like, that's like, he's doing the accent and they just auto-tune it to make it more accurate. And that is vastly different than using AI in the way that people like to think of it. And I think once people discovered that, they backed off and they were like, oh shit, like, we can't use this to take the brutalist.
Yeah.
It's a bullshit argument created by people who just wanted to stir stuff up. I mean, if you're going to use that basis, then cancel the whole movie of The Irishman. You know? Like,
good point. All right. 100%. All right. We're going to drift into Best Director here. I'm going to put this up. I'll read the nominees and I'll come back to our shiny faces. We got Sean Baker for Anora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jacques Audiard, for Emilia Perez, and of course Coralie Fargi for The Substance. I would be remiss if I didn't mention where's Denis Villeneuve,
right? And Guadagnino.
Yeah. Now, when you say where's Guadagnino, are we talking challenge? I hope we're talking challengers here. Or are you talking queer? Because I'm going challengers.
Challengers.
Okay.
I'd go queer. I'd go both of them. Let them have both. They're both incredible movies.
Yeah.
I've not seen queer.
Queer's so good.
Okay. So Matt, do you want to start on this one?
Sure. Can you please bring up the nominees again?
Of course I can. Can I bring up the nominees? He says. Yeah, there they are.
All right.
Yeah.
Complete unknown traditional biopic. Don't know why James Mangold is there instead of Villeneuve or Luca. I like what Audiard was trying to attempt with Emilia Perez, but then again, it's a musical and all the songs suck. Just saying.
You're not wrong, Matt. You are not wrong.
It was. I was literally sitting there watching it. Thank God I didn't go to the theater. I was watching it on Netflix, and I'm just like, "Why am I watching this? What's going on?" Like every half an hour.
I saw the TIFF premiere, and I love musicals. I walked out of the premiere, and when the film was over, I walked out. I could not hum a single melody, and I had just watched the movie with all the actors there, with all the cue.
melody I know is El Mal, and it's just a drone. El Mal, blah, 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 blah. It's like, all that is to say, neither of those two should be in the conversation. Brady Corbett did a great job with The Brutalist. I like how he took pieces from the VistaVision 1950s epics. He took pieces from the 1970s kind of American noir sort of feeling. I think he could have trimmed it down a little bit. 3 hours and 3 hours and 40 minutes?
It's not long enough.
Well, in that case, make it a goddamn miniseries.
Give me the 6 hour Brutalist cut. I'm ready.
For me, it's between Anora and The Substance. Sean Baker and Coralie Fargeat. I would love to see Fargeat get the award. Will she? I don't think so. I think people are going to play it safe as you can play it with a movie about the Russian mob and a stripper. But I think they'll play it safe and give Sean Baker the award. Kind of like what Keith was saying, a sort of retroactive award for all the stuff that he's done before leading up to this as well as Anora. Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah. Derek, you want me to go or you want to go?
I can go because I kind of agree. So in my order, and I would have said Courbet. This could have been Courbet's category because I actually think he directs a near masterpiece of American cinema. I'm a Brutalist stan. I'm a Brutalist boy. I think it was my number 3 film or number 2 film. Like it's incredible to me. I love it. And I mean it. Like that movie was not long enough. And I saw it after The Substance, having gone to, because The Substance started at midnight, but it actually started like 12:45. So I didn't go to sleep until 3, and then I woke up at 7 to be in line for The Brutalist at 9. So there's like, you want to talk about somebody that like stuck it through and watched that movie and still came out on the other side. I love The Brutalist. I think Courbet actually, in some of his campaigns and in some of his speeches where he's won or he's been recognized, I know that it's a campaign and I know that desperation is always there, but I want this too badly. You know what he did? He did the Bradley Cooper Maestro thing where he was trying to be incredibly sincere, but he just wants it too much and it started rubbing people the wrong way. I won't even credit some of the political stuff that he had done, which is fine. Like that's, use your platform however you want. But I also think that scared some people. If we talk about documentary, I think Hollywood is a bunch of cowards and they're not going to give it to the right film. But so I would love to give this to Courbet, but I think he's out. I think you're right. It's a 2-person race. It's Sean Baker and Coralie Fargeat. Historically, women are not going to win in this category. Fargeat should win because I actually do think it's the best. When we talk about just the craft of directing, it is the best directed film of the year. Like, hands down, without a doubt, it's the best directed film on this list, like by far and away. So she should win, but she won't. This is Sean Baker's to lose. And I think this is Sean Baker to do it for sure.
And not taking anything away from Baker either, because I mean,
no, of course, and I love Honora. Like Honora also made my top 3, I think. Yeah, I love Honora, but yeah, this is Sean Baker's win.
The way Baker switches genres so fluidly is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll jump in. It's one of those things. I totally agree with what you guys are saying. If we're looking at just in terms of what movie was the best directed, then yes, it is absolutely The Substance. I love Sean Baker. I loved Florida Project. I had a strong appreciation for Red Rocket. I think he's an incredible filmmaker, and I've sung his praises as being a guy who looks at marginalized communities and brings them to the forefront. And other directors aren't doing that. He said it himself last weekend at one of the award shows, where he is like an indie, like he's an indie film guy. That's where he wants to stay. And I love that, because he's bringing like these amazing stories and showing that you don't need the $200 million Oppenheimer budget to get it done, right? Yep. So I would absolutely love to see it, and I'd love to see him win. And I love all the success he's having in terms of like Directors Guild, Producers Guild, and that. But if we're just saying in terms of, okay, well, which of these films was the best directed? It is absolutely The Substance. And Coralie Farges should win. She should have been getting more recognition along this whole award season trail, but unfortunately she hasn't. I think, keep me honest, but I think the only other thing she was nominated for was the Golden Globes. I don't believe she was nominated for a DGA award, and I haven't seen her pop up anywhere else. And it's unfortunate. The material is heavy and what have you, and it's not for everybody. There are people who are going to walk out of that movie and just be like, but at the same token, I think, I don't know, sometimes people,
it's just,
yeah, it's incredible. It's an incredible film that's done in a very different way. Yeah. Her last movie, Revenge, was like that as well. I mean, she basically takes something that we've seen many times and does it completely different, does it in her own way. And in the same way, we've seen filmmakers like Tarantino and Spike Lee have their own specific like style and the little things that they put in their films. We're already seeing that with her, and she doesn't even have the filmography that's anywhere near as long as those gentlemen. Who will win? Sean Baker for Nora. But I do think in terms of what movie, repeating myself from earlier, what movie was like the one that really stayed with me from 2024 in terms of just like the visuals and nothing like it? It's The Substance.
I know we're going to move on from this category, but I do want to say how crazy this director lineup is, not just for the name, but for the subject matter, because you said The Substance is really heavy. But if you really look at it, you've got a movie about a sex worker and the Russian mob. You've got a body horror movie about beauty standards and unrealistic beauty standards in Hollywood. You have the deconstruction of the American dream, and then you've got a weird rock opera that is just like 9 different films put into one. The only one that's like a standard safe movie is A Complete Unknown, and even that doesn't even follow like the actual trajectory of a music biopic. It actually tries to do something different. I don't think it works, but it's just wild that like those are the 4 main topics we've got in director category. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, no, fair. We're going to go with a best picture, but do you guys want to do international feature film?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So the nominees for that, Brazil is coming to the table with I'm Still Here. Denmark is coming to the table with The Girl with the Needle. France and Emilia Perez. Germany, The Seed of the Sacred Fig. And Latvia with Flow. Those are the nominees. I don't know, Derek, I'm assuming you've probably seen all 5.
Yes.
Matt, I don't know if you've seen all 5. Okay. All right. And that's fine. Some of these movies, it's interesting because So Derek lives in California, for those who don't know, and he just has access to everything. Whereas here in Ottawa, sometimes it'll come and it'll play for like literally at some of our independent theaters for like 2 days. So it's like you better be able to get to the if you don't have a link, you better be able to get to the theater in those 2 days. So I'll kick off and I'll say, if we were having this conversation back in January or whenever the Golden Globes were, everybody was going crazy still in the Amelia Perez. Obviously, that's changed. I think this is going to go with the land of Pele and Brazil, and I'm Still Here. When Fernando Torres won the Golden Globe Award, I was surprised, but then I saw the movie, and then I'm like, okay, I get it, because she was incredible in that film. Sorry.
And it's timely.
Yeah. It's a very, very strong film. I have not. The one of these I haven't seen is The Girl with the Needle. Although one of my neighbors has been raving about how incredible it is. It's on Mubi, by the way, for those who want to check it out. Again, I've never been high on Amelia Perez. I thought The Seed of the Sacred Fig was great, but I don't think it doesn't have any real momentum behind it. And Flow, of course, we all love. Part of the way that this is an easy pick in my mind is historically a movie that is nominated for Best Picture and is also nominated for Best Foreign Film. It might not win Best Picture, but it'll damn sure win Best Foreign Film, right? So, for example, last year we had The Zone of Interest nominated for Best International Film and Best Picture. It won Best International. Here, we're not going to see Amelia Perez win. So the next in line, and what is also nominated for Best Picture, just happens to be I'm Still Here. So I don't see a situation on God's green earth where I'm Still Here is nominated for Best Picture and doesn't come away with Best International Film. So through all of that rambling, Best International Film will go to I'm Still Here, and well deserved. It's a very, very strong film.
Well, I'm glad that they changed the award name from Best Foreign Language Film to International Feature Film, because, oh man, that Latvian dialogue in Flow. Keith, I agree with you 100%. I think I'm Still Here is going to knock Amelia Perez off the perch that it once held. Although I have noticed kind of like a little bit of a trend with European films, black and white artsy European films, like, The Girl with the Needle, going back to Cold War, going back to The White Ribbon. They always seem to do really, really well. I'm not saying that it's going to win, especially with 2 Oscar nominees in the Best Picture race. But I think that in any other year, that might have been the one that would have pulled itself through. That's all I got.
The Girl with the Needle should win because it is incredible. I'm gonna say something, and I don't want anybody to think that this is how I feel about the film itself. But I think Amelia Perez goes 3 for 10, and I think Zoe Saldana gets 2 of them, and I actually think it does end up winning International Feature.
Really?
I do. I know. I think the Fall from Grace has not actually dethroned the film overall, and how much the international community has embraced that movie. I love the fervor for I'm Still Here, and if I'm wrong, I hope that's what I'm wrong about, because I think that if there's ever going to be a film that's going to challenge that one, as much as I love The Girl with the Needle, I just don't. It's a rough film. Like it might have all the cinematography and the black and whites, but like I would venture to say most Academy voters couldn't sit through it. I just listen. I don't want to live in this world where this happens, but I think it's going to happen. I think Amelia Perez. I think it wins Best International Feature.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You're wrong.
Before we jump ahead to Best Picture, the invitation is out for you gentlemen to join me after the Academy Awards. We're going to do a recap like we did last year, and I'm going to be online. It would be nice to have other people to talk to. So if you guys are free, by all means come through, and we'll see if Amelia Perez can. I think at this point would be a bit of an upset and win international film. I mean, we're about to talk Best Picture. You might also be predicting it for Best Picture. I don't know.
We're
gonna find out in a second. So let me cue this up. Our nominees for Best Picture at the 2025 Academy Awards, which we're excited to see, and Conan is going to bring it. We have got Nora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys. Why haven't we been talking more about Nickel Boys tonight?
Because they didn't nominate it for anything.
The Substance and Wicked. Derek, the floor is yours.
Okay, so again, heart picks. If I'm the Academy, this is a no-brainer for Nickel Boys. Like, how that movie wasn't nominated for everything, I just don't understand. And whatever. That's a different
bad promotion.
Show.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
too loud.
No, you're absolutely correct. You're literally watching cinema change before your eyes, and you're not going to nominate it at all. Like, what are we doing here? So it should be Nickel Boys. It won't be. I struggled with this for so long because I think there's some strong contenders. I think there's a lot of split voting going on. I think there's a very strong chance that the number 2 film on a lot of ballots actually ends up winning, which I think actually Conclave is a pretty good, like, the broad appeal and how much people just genuinely like the film, even if they didn't love it. I think their love it picks split the vote a little too much, and then there's like a consistency in like the second or third, and that one might actually end up winning because of the ranked choice voting. All that to say, though, I actually do still think Anora takes this one. I think I know Anora had a really rocky start at the beginning of this award season where we were like, oh shit, that film's dead. Like, it's not going anywhere. But I think its resurgence and where it surged and where it has won is pretty indicative that Anora is going to be the one to take this for Best Picture. Mm-hmm. So that's who I'm actually going to go with.
Nice. Matt?
I agree with you and I disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I like your points about the second pick, and the number 1 picks being canceled out, and that is why I think Conclave will pull out an upset. Keep in mind, like I said before, a lot of Academy voters, they're changing, but they are very conservative, they seem to be. So maybe they don't want a movie with the Russian mob and a stripper to win Best Picture. Maybe they want, a nice kind of old-fashioned, what have I heard people calling it?
It's a pulpy thriller.
Airport paperback kind of movie.
It's airport trash elevated by a great director and an incredible score.
It's like the Green Book of 2024, except without...
don't insult Conclave like that with Green Book. How dare you?
Except without the great director, because Farrelly wasn't.
Yeah.
It has... Conclave has prestige written all over it. It's got actors from Europe, England, South America, I think. North America, Africa. It's got like actors from everywhere who, kind of represent the whole gamut of Catholicism. I don't know. I just have a feeling that Conclave might pull it off.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say, the BAFTA win wasn't a shock. But when they won the Ensemble of the Screen Actors Guild Award, even that table was shocked when they won it.
Yeah.
Right. Derek, I'm gonna jump way back to when you first joined and you were talking about how this was like one of the craziest award seasons. I think that's kind of the term that you used, and it absolutely has been ridiculous. Now, here's what happened: we had fires, which postponed things. So for the longest time, we didn't have any awards other than the Golden Globes. And what happened at the Golden Globes? We had The Brutalist win. And we had Amelia Perez win, and we had Brady Corbet win for Best Director. So everything, all of the predictions online where it's the Brutalist, all of that changed in one weekend. On, I think it was like the Friday, we had, I might be getting the days mixed up, but on one day we had Sean Baker win the Directors Guild Award, which normally wins, you're going to go ahead and win Best Director. And then the Producers Guild Award went to Anora, and then everything shifted, and then we weren't talking about The Brutalist anymore, and then we shifted into Anora. So yeah, Anora is coming in with this late surge, absolutely, in this amount of momentum coming to the final stretch here. Yeah, we look and we say, okay, well, you know what, are they gonna, it's the Russian mob and strippers and things of that nature. But we've seen like some crazy performances and some crazy films. I mean, Denzel Washington did not win for his phenomenal portrayal of Malcolm X. He didn't win for his phenomenal portrayal of Hurricane Carter. He won for being a drug-taking dirty cop, right? So it's not like it's outside the realm of possibility, that this could happen. Obviously there was the fact that, oh shoot, we haven't given him an Academy Award, and he had what I call the Christopher Nolan effect. Sometimes you win not for your best work, it's just like making it right. All that being said, I agree, Nickel Boys has been completely overlooked because I think it was an incredible film, but I think it is guilty of, or at the fault of, terrible promotion. We are here in Ottawa, Canada, which isn't a small city. We've got two major theater chains here. One is called Landmark, one is called Cineplex, one that you're familiar with, Derek.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Landmark too. Yeah,
so Cineplex, and I make the reference just in terms of TIFF and the Cineplex partnership. There was not a Cineplex property in Ottawa that showed Nickel Boys at all. And we're talking a Best Picture nominee. And it's the only one of the 10 that I can say that about. It was, again, one of those situations where what's that?
You had to go where to see it?
It was either, it played at Bytown for a couple here in Ottawa, Bytown and Mayfair, which are two independent theaters, and then at Mayfair. But the good news for those,
Montreal, was it, or New York City?
I was in New York City opening weekend, and I got a chance to see it then. But it was, again, one of those situations where it's like, oh, it's playing for a couple of days, hop on one foot and hope you can make it. So the promotion has been atrocious.
And it was all that, Derek. Ottawa is a city of 1 million people.
Yeah, we're not small. Yeah. We're not small.
Okay. Yeah.
So, again, I always do the process of elimination, and you guys have already knocked out a bunch. I mean, Dune 2, I think, was incredible. I think Dune 2 was one of those movies where it actually lives up to that tagline of you need to see it on the big screen, just because it was visually stunning. But it came out way too early, and by the time we get into a lot of these other movies, they're forgotten. Wicked, we got a sequel coming out. It's not going to be the substance. If they're having trouble getting through The Girl with a Needle, what's the substance going to do to people? So, and again, a complete unknown. A complete unknown is based on a really strong performance. I don't think the film overall is outstanding, but the performance is.
It's Line version 2.0.
It's which, sorry, 2.0?
Line version 2.0.
Yeah. I don't love The Brutalist as much as my friend Derek does, but I appreciate that he does. Again, he's like, give me more. I'm like, really? I could have taken a little less, but whatever. I would love to see a crazy Moonlight ending, and not to say that they get the awards wrong, but these guys have been kind of sitting still all night, and all of a sudden they're like, Nickel Boys, like, really? That would be cool. I just don't think it happens. I think Anora. I think Anora will pull this one off. I think it comes down to Conclave, The Brutalist, and Anora. And I throw The Brutalist in there just because, cards on the table. Holocaust movies do well at the Academy Awards. Sure. Schindler's List, Life is Beautiful, last year, Zone of Interest, and many, many more. And not to say that it's not a great movie. It is a very good movie. But I think it lost a lot of its steam and momentum from a picture standpoint, and a lot of it is more centered around Adrian Brody's performance. But again, I think this has been an incredible award season and an incredible year overall for Anora. The reviews have been fantastic. Winning the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and it could very well follow in the footsteps of Parasite as being the last Cannes winner to come on the Oscar stage and win Best Picture. TIFF will be happy because it played at TIFF. So there's a lot of exciting things here for it.
Yeah.
So So my pick is going to be a Nora, and if it does, I've been told by the neighbors I'm not allowed to go streaking and celebrate. I was warned last time. So, but yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see just how this whole night plays out. And we were talking earlier. I am thrilled with the host with Conan O'Brien. I think he's going to do an incredible job.
Yeah.
And I was saying this is one of those things, like if you're a comedian, this is the gig that you want. And I think he is so well suited to do it, just because every time you think, okay, we're just going to get a same old, he comes out with something crazy and creative. And I'm very excited for his opening monologue. That's how you know I'm an Oscar nerd, because in any month of the year, you can go through my YouTube history and I'll probably have looked at an opening monologue, just because I love rewatching them. So sure. I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, no, I think he's a great pick. I think he is. He's also the kind of comedian that is Hollywood, which is something that a lot of comedians don't have. So they bring, especially for like precursors, they bring in comedians that are just straight stand-ups, and they go into like roast battle mode, and they're not a part of the community, right? They're on the outside looking in, and you get these just really weird, awkward moments where it's like, you don't know me though. Like, you know what I mean? Like we've never shared the screen together. We don't have a history. Like, we're not friends. Why are you doing this? And you see that happen all the time, and it makes things really, really, really weird. And I think Kimmel does a pretty decent job, but I think he runs his bits a little too long, and I think they often interfere with some of the things that are going on. But he's a little bit more the type that, you would want at an award show. And I think Conan O'Brien has the creativity, the time restraints, but also the welcoming of the community already, because he is so ingrained. He's been around for so long. All of these people that he's going to make jokes at on their expense are people that he genuinely knows, that he's had some kind of interaction with, that he's friends with outside of work. Like, and that you need that. Like, you need it to be somebody on the inside that understands the industry. And I think he does that. And I think he's going to do really, really well.
Yeah, his targets, if you want to call them that, are going to feel like they're in on the joke.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Ricky Gervais flying over from London and just, dropping people left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Although that would be fun to see.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, listen, I will reconvene with you, gentlemen. I'm not going to put you guys on the spot for a commitment now, but I'm hoping you guys can join me Sunday night, and we'll do a recap. I'm very excited, partially because there's so many awards that are so up in the air. Picture, actor, director, like those aren't locks. Last year they kind of were, not so much this year. Well, maybe not actress. Actress wasn't a lock last year because we had that one was pretty split. But in terms of we knew it was going to be a great night for Oppenheimer. We don't know. We could have a situation where Conclave could come in and win Best Picture. That could definitely happen. Brutalist.
My confidence level is not like it was last year. I think I went 21 for 23 last year. I did really, really well. I am not banking on that at all. This is the latest I've ever started making my predictions for the Oscars. Because I just, every day I look at it and I'm just like, no, I can't publish that. I want to change it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, fair. All right. Well, listen, gentlemen, I thank you. Matt, thank you for staying up late. Derek, thank you for not, but I appreciate the heck out of both of you guys. And I love these chats, and I love the passion and enthusiasm. And thank you all for checking this out. And hopefully you'll be able to join us Sunday night, where we do a recap of the 2025 Academy Awards. And with that, I will say good night, and thanks so much for tuning in. Night, guys.
Night.